What is up, guys? Welcome to the South Coast. Today's video, I'm going to give you my review of the Toro 21-inch recycler. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so basically just wanted to sit down, go over some of my pros and cons with this Toro recycler. This is a 21-inch, 140cc rear wheel drive, self-propelled with the bagger. I bought this at one of the big box stores here locally not too long ago, sort of beginning of this mowing season. I probably got probably 8 to 10 cuts on it. Really only been cutting the Bermuda at our house with it. We've got Bermuda here on the side yard as well as along the front and back of the house. Not a ton of grass. The rest of the grass, as you can see behind me, just sort of field grass that I cut with our bad boy Maverick. But I had been using a pretty old, pretty worn out yard machine, which was also a 21-inch, and I wanted to upgrade to something self-propelled, something with a bagger, to just sort of make it a little bit easier to cut the Bermuda around the house. Try to get a little bit better finished product. So I got this Toro, like I said, it's a 140cc Briggs & Stratton engine on it, and to be honest, I like the engine. I thought it was going to be a little bit underpowered, but it seems to do pretty good. It's fairly quiet and really doesn't burn a ton of gas. I can get a couple cuts on each tank of gas, just with the amount that I'm cutting. Like I said, it's not a ton. But yeah, it does really well. I think the engine is well suited for this size mower. I think the engine performs well. Like I said, it's pretty quiet. So yeah, definitely one of the pros is that Briggs & Stratton engine. I like the bagger on it. To be honest, I was surprised at how frequently I need to empty the bag whenever I'm cutting. I cut this Bermuda on the lowest possible setting, which we'll talk about that in a moment. And I'm cutting about once a week. I really need to cut this Bermuda probably twice a week, is what it wants. So I'm taking off a fair amount every time I cut. It's growing pretty quickly here this summer. We've had some good rain here lately, so it's been doing well. The Bermuda has. So come back to the mower. I was kind of surprised at how much I have to empty this bag. When it's good and dried out, like if I'm cutting the Bermuda in the afternoon, I can cut pretty much each side of the yard on one bag. So I can cut the front, dump the bag, cut the side, dump the bag, cut the back, dump the bag, and then cut this side. This side over here doesn't fill the bag up, but the other three sides of the house will fill this bag up when everything is good and dry and the grass is moving well into the bag. One of the things I don't like is how quickly it'll get clogged and bogged down when the grass is wet. So if you're mowing thick grass in the morning when it's still got dew on it, when it's still wet, or if you're mowing after a rain, the mower will clog up the port from the deck that goes into the bag. It's not a huge port, and that'll get clogged up before the bag gets full. So that's a little bit frustrating if you're trying to cut early in the morning before the sun gets too hot or anything like that. It's definitely better suited for cutting dry grass than it is cutting wet grass. I ran into that the first few times I cut with the mower. I was cutting early in the morning, and I would get maybe half of each section of grass cut, and I'd have to pull the bag off, and the bag wouldn't even be full. It would be maybe a third to a half full, and just the port going from the deck into the bag would be clogged up with wet clumps of grass, and so that was less than ideal. I don't know if that's could be a power issue. Maybe if it had a stronger engine on it, it could push that wet grass into the bag, or what. Or maybe it's a blade issue. I'm not really sure there, but that was one of the things that was kind of a learning curve in getting this mower. Since then, I've been cutting in the afternoons when it's nice and dry, and like I said, I can get away with dumping the bag maybe 3, maybe 4 times, cutting all of our grass. I do like having the bag versus a non-bagged mower. My last mower just had a side discharge, and I definitely think the grass looks a lot better after I cut with the bagger. So I like that. Whenever I was looking at buying this mower, I was going back and forth between the front wheel drive versions and the rear wheel drive. I'm glad I went with the rear wheel drive. As the bag fills up with grass, it gets heavier, and it doesn't really affect the traction too much on this mower, but I could see where if you had a front wheel drive, as that bag gets heavier, you're putting more weight on this back side, you would be losing traction on those front tires. So I like the rear wheel drive. It does well. This is my first self-propelled walk behind mower, so getting used to it is definitely super nice to not have to push the mower through the grass. Super nice having that self-propelled feature. I really like it, and that does really well. So thumbs up on the rear wheel drive self-propelled option. I haven't ever used a front wheel drive self-propelled option, but I could see where as the bag gets filled up, you may have some issues keeping traction and keeping that mower pulling itself along. I am running into an interesting issue, and I may need y'all's help to figure it out. So in some areas of the yard, I don't have a super flat, super even surface, but I am getting these shapes cut into the grass. You can tell it's where the blade is digging in and cutting much lower than it should in areas. And I can't tell if it's because the ground is just uneven and the area of the ground I'm cutting is up higher than where the tires are, or if there's something going on with the blade or the deck flexing. I'll take you here and show you some of these areas, but it's almost like as the mower is hitting the bumps, the blade may be flexing down at the tips and digging in certain areas. Also, I've noticed that if I am to pick the back end of the mower up to pivot it left or right, whenever I pick it up, that blade will dig in the front and leave a mark in the grass. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm not sure if, like I said, I'm not sure if it's just because my grass is so uneven or because I'm hitting these bumps and it's causing the blade to flex up and down as it's spinning around and cause those marks in the grass. Other than that, the cut quality has been pretty good. I do have the deck adjustment set at its lowest setting. I wish it could go like half a notch or one notch lower. The yard machine I was using could cut a little bit lower than this one. And I know this Bermuda likes to be cut low. It likes to be maintained at a low height. So for right now, I'm just cutting it with this mower as low as it can go, and seems to be doing all right. Like I said, I should really be cutting this grass twice a week. I think it would be more healthy or healthier if I were to cut it twice a week instead of just once a week, taking off a bunch of length. But at some point, once I get more time, I'd like to start cutting it twice a week and see how that does. But anyway, overall, I like the mower. I like it way more than the old worn out yard machine that I was using. That machine did a great job for many years, but upgrading to a self-propelled mower with the bagger is definitely pretty nice. The Briggs & Stratton engine starts first pull every time, has enough power to do what I need it to do, and it's not super loud, and it does a pretty good job cutting. So that's it. That's my review of the bad boy. This is not a bad boy. The Toro 21-inch recycler self-propelled walk behind lawnmower. Let me know down in the comment section if you have this mower, if you've run into any issues with making those gouges in the grass and leaving those circles or crescent shapes cut in the grass. Let me know if you have a solution for them. And if you've ever used these mowers, let me know what your favorite blade is. I like to try out different blades and see what works best. I haven't really started looking for a different blade for this mower yet, but If you have one that you like to use, drop it down in the comment section. I'll definitely like to check it out. Throw it on here, cut some grass, and let you know what I think. As always, hit that thumbs up if you like this video. Drop me that blade suggestion down in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope y'all have a good one. We'll catch you next time down here on the South Coast.